another conversation because I think we may need some extra time for it. So I'd like to get that done, at least started at this point in time, and get a little bit
trying to say
underway.
Long-winded.
What?
Trying to say we're long-winded.
Trying to make my topic long-winded.
Sometimes we end up chopping the mailbag up because we just talk way too much about our topic.
We don't want to cheat the crowd.
This is going to be an ongoing conversation. So
yes.
We're going to get to
today
what we can get to.
Is part one.
Part one.
So somebody learned from Elisa's theory of doing part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So
ongoing conversation is now the short term for a rant. Am I correct?
No.
No.
Okay.
A rant can be very short and to the point and concise.
They never are with Scott.
Well, nothing's ever that way with Scott or Frank. Those guys can talk your ear off.
Oh, my goodness.
Speaking of talking your ear off, let's start the process of the topic managing expectations during the buying process.
Oh, this is a good one.
It's a great topic. Yes, it's going to take some time. This is simply part one, but we are actually going to break this down for people because what we saw again at the workshop on Wednesday night was real deer in the headlight type stuff from the buyers out there. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do.
And one of the buyers
help them.
had been through this process before, just over 10 years ago, but it's still evolved.
Yeah, it went away.
It evolves every time, and things are always new and different.
And just last night,
just a short period of time.
Last night I had an hour conversation with them again, and kind of because they were still a little apprehensive, and it's just it can be overwhelming. So this is a great.
Let's do it.
This is at least 50%
Let's
of
break
our
it
job.
down. Let's start from the beginning, which is always the best place to start. Mama always say it. So let's talk about managing expectations. What is the beginning of the buying process?
Yeah, well, I think the beginning of the buying process is actually taking the time and slowly understanding what you're getting yourself into. Because where frustration and where stress comes from is fear of the unknown. Escrow, absolutely. But if you don't know what the next step is, if you don't know who's involved, if you don't know the whole process, because the biggest thing I think that folks have challenges with is fear of the unknown. It's not that they're afraid of what's coming up. It's that they don't. No, not supernatural type of unknown. I'm just talking about
that show.
What's next in the process. I love that show too. I just got into it.
Awesome. Okay, here we go again.
Make it feel like you're going in blind.
Step one, buying process.
Okay, so I think the very first step is hiring your buying team. Okay, and
hiring your buying team.
Yes, hiring your buying team, and that's your lender and that's your real estate agent. And one of the things, and we've touched on this before in different segments and different aspects, but I think it warrants repeating. Hiring a professional to work with you to help you buy your home is a really, really serious big deal. I mean, you're talking about making a commitment and making an investment in something that's tremendous. I mean, if you're talking about spending so much money. And the problem is when you're hiring a buying team is you don't pay a professional to help you buy a house. So you can end up going with the first person that gives you the good news that, yes, maybe you can buy a house or, yes, maybe you can qualify for a home loan, when that's not necessarily the best thing to do. You need to be okay. And the problem is most people aren't employers, so they're not used to interviewing people, but you seriously have to interview people. Now, the cool thing is if you can if you interview or trust or get a personal referral from somebody, or you go to Facebook and say, hey, has anybody just bought a house that can recommend somebody to me? Most people are going with recommendations. Sit down and talk. And I know this sounds crazy, but you got to trust your gut on these things.
That's crazy.
It's
That's crazy.
wild. That's wacky.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
It is crazy because you just have to. You don't doubt yourself. Don't question yourself. If you're talking to somebody face to face, if you get a creepy feeling or
prickly fuzzies,
it's like a first date.
Prickly fuzzies,
right? Well, if they just seem like they're just
creepy,
selling
plastic,
you, and
if they just seem like they're a plastic salesman telling you, yes, we can do that.
That's plastic.
That's plastic creepiness right there. And I mean, it's not about buying the house. It's about somebody standing by your side and something that's potentially going to be a huge, huge deal for you and your family. So the relationship and the being able to relate on a personality level, being able to trust their character, understanding what their values are, and making it. If you have to feel like this is all about you and not them trying to make a commission, and I swear to you, you can tell. Trust your instincts. I've heard it so many times after the fact. After the fact, people say, "You know what? I kind of knew it." And when I hear that, I'm just like,
you kind of knew it, but you hired him anyway.
Right, you hired him anyway because listen, a lot of times these folks are professional salespeople, and the fact of the matter is, a real estate agent and a lender only gets paid if they sell you a house and if they give you a loan. So they're going to romance you and wine and dine you. It's all honeymoon, baby. It's first date. It's first date until you buy the house, and then you're not speaking anymore. And they know that. So you have to pay close attention.
It sounds like you're getting your realtor from Plenty of Fish or something.
Something. It's important. It's important
What's
to
that?
understand that part of that part of the
RE Harmony.
process.
Oh, okay.
RE Harmony?
Yeah, that's where I'm going for my next realtor.
Hang on, I'm going to reserve that URL. That's awesome.
RE Harmony.
Is it? Is it like eHarmony for real estate
Plenty
agents?
of Fish and
Really?
or eHarmony and what the heck's the other big one that's
Match.com.
Match.com.
Oh,
Yeah.
is there
wow,
really
it's
an
so funny.
REHarmony.com though?
No, I was just
There is
making
now.
up.
It's like eHarmony, but for real
You
estate.
better hurry up and buy
I
it
get it.
because all 3 listeners that we have are right now getting
They're
on to
scrambling.
GoDaddy.
I think they just shut down the GoDaddy servers.
I'm telling you right now.
Scrambling on. Yeah, because so that's really that's probably one of the biggest things. So how much time do we have? Because I've got more.
You got about.
Wait a
3
minute,
minutes.
you're filling out my
About-
whole clipboard here.
About 3 minutes.
So number 1, we got that
gonna run
taken
out of
care of,
room.
right? Number 1 was pick your team, choose wisely.
Hiring your team, and a lot of times if you trust one party, I mean, the reality is you need to get your financing first, but it's okay if you hire your real estate agent first and then maybe get a referral from them of a lender that they prefer, because if you can trust the character and you feel comfortable with one party, then a lot of times they're going to trust you, because we do that all the time because we educate consumers on Homeownership University. So we're usually the lending process, and we all the time will get people say, "Hey, do you know of a real estate agent that you trust?"
Well, they go hand in hand. If you
Right.
know a real estate agent or you trust a real estate agent, and then you trust them for the lender referral, and if you know a lender and trust a lender, then you look at them for the real estate
It helps
referral.
if the agent has gone through the process with the
With
lender
the lender.
before and knows
Yeah,
that
relationships are
the lender
key.
gets things
Absolutely.
done.
Because
you know?
communication, and we'll get to this later on. Since we only got to this part, I have a feeling this
Give me
is
number
going to
2.
be about five weeks.
Give me number 2.
Actually, I think
1B.
I'm just going to tease you with it.
No, give me number 2.
You want number 2?
I got 2
Uh-oh.
minutes.
Okay, I can do this quickly. The parties that
No,
are
you
involved.
can't.
Yeah, the parties that are involved. So you've got your lender,
Right.
but the real estate agents.
Yes.
I want to understand what the real estate agents
No
are, and
rants.
what the
No
parties
rants.
are.
We don't have time.
This is going to be a very
I
short.
got to put my
rant.
shield up.
I
So
knew
you
a
have
rant was coming as soon as Scott says real
You're
estate
right
agent.
there, Frank.
So you have a seller's agent. The seller's agent represents the seller in the transaction.
Correct.
The buyer's agent is your real estate agent.
Got it?
The agents are like attorneys.
Yeah.
Okay, so they talk to each other,
I know where you're going with this.
representing each party.
Okay.
Okay,
I got it. I got
so,
the picture.
So somebody like Big Bang Frank is going to represent the lender, right?
Okay.
He's the seller's agent.
I plead the fifth.
You as the buyer, but Frank's a really good agent.
He
Though,
is a
so
good
you
agent.
want to do
Oh,
it.
God,
so,
enough with the...
Okay, so the very
Free
short
tacos
the
for
very
everything.
short rant. The very short rant is called dual agency.
Uh-oh.
Okay?
Dual
And dual
agency.
agency-
Okay, hold on. Dual agency is when
Yeah,
one
we've
real
discussed this
estate
before,
agent
yeah.
represents both the buyer
And it's got
and
a
the seller.
creepy little term for it, double ender.
Double ender.
Double ender.
Exactly. It's
Well,
kinda creepy.
my
Double dipping.
the favorite way I've heard this, and I just heard this recently described by a lender friend of mine, is it's like using your wife's attorney in a divorce. so
Would you do that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because
So
it
I say
literally
you're
is.
against dual agency.
And the wife being the seller.
the wife being the seller and the
Oof,
buyer
even
or
worse.
whatever. But yeah, exactly. It's like using one attorney that represents both the plaintiff and the defendant in a case, because the role of an agency is actually a legal term that obligates that person to represent the sole interest of the party that they represent. One person cannot represent fully the interests of two opposite parties.
They have fiduciary duties.
It's fiduciary duties.
Mm-hmm.
Then why is it legal?
Because
somebody
because there's a
can't do it-
disclosure for it.
There's a disclosure.
Right.
That's it. Okay,
So as long
fine.
as
Then
you-
everybody's fine.
Yeah,
There's a
so
disclosure.
as long as you sign something that says that. But where this happens quite often is if a home buyer goes to an open house, that's usually a listing agent that's sitting at the open house, and if they want to make an copy in the car and start showing you houses, they're probably showing you the houses that they have listed, or that are in-house listings, or what do you call that when they're
Pocket
when an
listings.
agent. Well, not necessarily pocket listing, but
No.
only in-house
in-house.
listings,
In-house
where they
listing,
only
okay.
they only show houses that
Within
are
their own
listed
brokerage.
within their own brokerage.
Okay.
Because they make more money
Well,
off of
to,
it.
to be fair to my fellow agents,
Yeah, I was
Yes,
about
Frank,
to jump
it's
in
about
too.
time you jumped in here.
there are a lot of buyers that want you to write the offer
Right.
because
You
they
tell me
think
that all the
because
time,
they
Frank.
think they can
Get a
use
better
you to get the
But
property.
that's really for the foreclosures mostly. They don't
No.
typically do it.
They'll do it for
Anything.
Well,
across
they
the
will.
board.
Okay,
They think
yeah,
they have
yeah,
an
yeah.
inside track. You're going to give them everything they need to know
Yeah.
to position themselves to
But
be
it's just
the
not wise.
chosen
well,
buyer.
but what would you tell them in that case? Because
I tell them exactly like I say it a million times. I can write the offer for you, but the seller doesn't care if I write the offer for my grandmother. I present all offers, and the seller's going to take the offer with the best price and the best terms.
Yeah,
this
It's
isn't-
not my
this isn't
decision.
an REO
I
foreclosure
tell them
situation.
right off
Right,
the bat.
right.
But you're right. A lot of agents don't tell them that at all, and maybe get their hopes up just to get them on board. Maybe they know that buyer doesn't have a chance at that property, but maybe they can take them to another property.
I'd like to add that there are some good.
and I'm going to get
good
some
quality
agent phone
agents
calls
out there.
today for
Well,
saying
I mean,
this
there
stuff.
are some great agents out there who this just sometimes kind of happens, and
Yeah,
especially in
yeah,
that situation.
absolutely, yeah.
So, and I know me personally, there are some agents out there that I would trust to do, but
Oh,
I
wait a
see,
minute.
but I see what you're saying.
Supporter shout out.
Even though you
Come
can,
to the
even
dark
though-
side,
even though
Elisa.
even though you can trust them,
Yeah.
you're putting them in a position
Right.
where
And I
it's-
totally get what you're saying.
yeah,
Scott.
you're putting them in a position where it's difficult.
Time out. Supporter shout out. I
Uh-oh.
just found a great segue after you guys said that stuff. Again, we
That
live
was
and
not
breathe.
smooth as
No, we
butter.
live and die by our supporters, and one of our supporters is
second.
the Coastal team. Gina King and Joanna Morris. Joanna, she's going to kill me. Joanne Morris.
Ooh.
Well, I got the Gina, and then I got it. Anyway, Gina King and Joanna Morris of Keller Williams Pacific Estates support this show, and we love them for it. And you can get a hold of them at 562-888-0404
You say
or
just
Long
do
Beach
them.
Coastal Team at gmail.com. Supporters are what keep college radio stations going. If you would like to support the college radio programs, please give us a call at
Especially you alumni.
562-888-BEACH. And talk to us about supporting this incredible radio station.
Would you like a teaser for what's coming up in the next segment?
No, would
Yeah.
you like to give us a
You
teaser,
and your
Scott?
teasers.
Because
Because
your
next-
tease
because next
is a
week-
great segue to the next segment. Because
Really? Because
absolutely.
next week we're talking about buyer porn.
there you go.
Oh.
Next
Oh,
week
my goodness.
on Scott's segment of the buying process is going to be buyer porn.
Yes, we
I
are.
like it. Nice.
Absolutely.